Not Jack, not Tiger, not Rory, not Scotty. Jacob Bridgeman did something this weekend that none of those players have done. We're going to recap the Riviera, the Genesis rather, at Riviera. We're going to talk about the Kenya Open. We're going to talk a little bit about Scotty Scheffler, how our weekends were going, and of course, since it's Monday, we've got Mulligan Monday. All right, let's tee it up. Big Drive Energy Monday edition. We almost had to do a Sunday edition, almost had to pull it out of the hat. But Jacob Bridgeman won pretty going away, it felt like, until the very end. We're going to talk about the Genesis at Riviera, one of the 5th majors of the year, the best course of all time, all this other good stuff. But first, let's start out with our weekend. How was your weekend? I am now pod father of 2. It's been going swimmingly, no sleep, sleeping on the couch, doing all those type of things. It's been great. But how have you been, bro? The blizzard of 26 out there.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got quite a bit of snow. I don't know, just being from Colorado, we're more used to seeing things like this, and this is just not a super familiar thing in New Jersey, so it feels like the entire state shut down. I went out and walked to Whole Foods. Fucking Whole Foods is closed. I'm like, these people can't take away my fucking safe haven like this. But there was like nobody on the roads. It was like, it's a ghost town, but the roads are wet. They're completely clear. So it just doesn't make any sense. Like there's a bunch of people out there to clear the roads, and then everyone just went back inside. Like, and I think they cancel
They
things
the roads
out here.
so they can just be clear, but they don't need the roads apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Like I personally, #SimRat, I am going to the simulator with my buddy Rohan later because I got to get out of the house.
Did they close?
No, because that sim that he's like a member at, it's keyless, or it's like keyed entry, and there's nobody on staff. So I mean, unless they can't plow the sidewalks or whatever, as long as you can get there, I think you can get inside. So he texted me this morning and he's like, yeah, I got it booked for tonight. And I'm like, well, shit, dude, I got nothing going on. So it just kind of worked out. But yeah, other than that, like nobody's out doing shit. I went and cleaned my car off, and I tried to park it like in a spot in the parking lot that it like wouldn't get covered, and it got even more covered because this was like a super windy, like drifty snow. So I mean, it's nothing that people can't handle. Everyone's acting like, oh, do you have food? That is one of the funniest things to me, is when people like bombard the grocery store. Like, what are you going to get stuck inside for a fucking week? It's 8 inches, 10 inches of snow. Like, it's literally all gone today. So I just wanted to get out of the house and do something. Yeah, exactly. 8 inches looks like this. But no, really, other than that, we went to that comedy show Saturday night, which was fun. Really like just pretty low key. It's like a pop-up comedy thing. So it was in a barber shop, which was pretty cool. They just moved all the barber chairs and set up folding chairs. A couple of people ate shit on the folding chairs, so that was funny. But just the comedians were good. It was the tickets were $27 a piece. So it's like for a couple hours of entertainment was well worth it. And we went out and had dinner Saturday night. And it was weird because it was actually like 50 degrees on Saturday. And even today, it's like 35. It's not below freezing. So I think that's part of the reason why it's really not that bad out. But I actually wore too much clothes out today. I had my big jacket and shit on, and that was just really unnecessary. I was sweating my ass off. But yeah, people just think of snow differently out here. And I think it's because everything is such a logistical nightmare with so many people on the roads at all times that they like canceled school yesterday and everything just in anticipation of this. And to be fair, I think there's parts of the state that got like 20 inches. So that is definitely more significant. I think we probably got closer to like 10 inches to a foot here. But yeah, if you're getting 20 or so inches, then that's a different story. We're trying to go down to like they're doing the polar plunge this next weekend down the shore. So we're going to try to go down for that. But that's apparently the shore got like the most snow of anywhere. So I don't know. There's like flooding. The beach is a totally different story when they get snow. Like when it melts, it floods the island and shit. It's all a weird scenario that I don't understand. But and also it's odd living in an apartment because my entire life I've just naturally lived in, not naturally, I've lived in a house for the most part. So I am used to getting out and shoveling and like there's part of you that like wants to get out in the snow unless I'm just a psycho, but I like getting out in the snow and I have no need to here because I don't need to shovel or do anything. So I was like, I got to get outside. And so I went and grabbed my golf clubs from my car and shit and just, but yeah, it's nothing outrageous. And then you're texting me saying it's 65 degrees in Denver. Like it's basically spring already. And I'm wondering why you don't have a tea time other than the fact that you have a 4-day-old kid at home. So, yeah, I would, if I wish we could flip. So I would just be playing golf every day.
Yeah, I have considered it. I think I'm going to take my oldest son. Wow, that's weird to say. I think I'm going to take my oldest son out to the golf course tomorrow. And we're really practicing on, I was like, hey, we're going to go to the golf course tomorrow. And he said, but no cry and no hit dad. So we're going to really work on our
something about him at the golf course just makes him freak out. Like I've never seen him melt down like he did on a putting green at a public golf course. I've never like, I'm not a dad, obviously, so you'd handle it differently than I do, but I literally wanted to like just put my hand over his mouth and just carry him to the car like he's on my hip. I just did not have any time for it. So he needs to get himself under control on the golf. And like that's the problem is he just doesn't want to leave. So every time you tell him let's go, he just breaks down. He could be there for hours. I don't know what the solution is to that.
Yeah, I might test the theory of how long we can stay there tomorrow. See if it's like 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't know. I can only hit so many balls. Though. I get so bored hitting golf balls. It's like unbelievable how good I hit the ball when I'm on the driving range, and then I just get bored of it because everything is just a pure stripe, and I know that's not how it goes the second I step foot in between the holes 1 through 18. So you mentioned food earlier. I've got a food take for you. I just made something that I think I'm coining, and it's brand new. And basically right now we're, kind of stuck inside the house. We're essentially hanging out, and I'm trying to not DoorDash every single meal, and be fiscally responsible about this. So I was like, what do we have? And I saw I had some of my special mozzarella cheese. Sawyer's got some pepperonis, and I have tortillas, the big green garlic herb tortillas. So I made a pizzadilla. What do you think about that? It was gas.
I actually thought about that, like making like tortillas are just so versatile. You put anything in a tortilla and it feels like a meal. You know what I mean? I was thinking about putting like chicken nuggets and fucking some sauce in there. I'm like, that's basically a taco. I honestly considered that this weekend. But no, that sounds pretty fire. I made some chili yesterday. And that's going to be my Mulligan Monday, but just the food. I just love cooking every time it gets cold out, and I just want some new, like, good, unhealthy shit to eat. And then now the house is just full of it. But no, I love the pizzadilla idea. That kind of rhymed. Do you know what? Speaking of food things that I rediscovered, so this was a thing kind of inside baseball that you and I always ate growing up that I haven't had in forever. And I saw it at Wegmans the other day, which, by the way, do you know the lore around Wegmans grocery store?
No, you're gonna have to fill me in.
Like, people are obsessed with Wegmans. It's apparently like the best grocery store in America. And there's
Is it like a Buc-ee's obsession scenario?
No,
I've seen 3 different people at my gym working out wearing a Buc-ee shirt.
I actually saw a girl with a Buc-ee. What did she have? She had like a Buc-ee's pants on at the gym or some or a Buc-ee's hat. I don't know, something terrible. But yeah, it's not like Buc-ee's. It's just like it's a solid grocery store. And I actually heard this take. This is pretty funny. Like Trader Joe's is not a grocery store you marry. That's a grocery store you like. They were talking about on Pardon My Take, which is kind of funny, but Trader Joe, like you have to marry like Safeway or like a Wegmans. Like I feel like Wegmans is the grocery store that everybody marries, and then Trader Joe's is the one they like hit on the side, when they're feeling a little weird and frisky
That's
when they
fucking
want,
genius. I love that
right?
take, because that's exactly how, like, Whole Foods and Trader Joe's are side chicks for me, but we normally go to King Soopers.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, because that's the thing is Whole Foods doesn't have, well, it depends on the Whole Foods you go to, but it doesn't have everything you need. And neither does Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's just has the most random, like stuffed raviolis and like frozen Chinese food that's fucking good and some random, super crazy random things, but they're not like the essentials. And Whole Foods is too healthy. They don't have goldfish and shit. I'm like, I need some unhealthy snacks up in here. But Wegmans is like a very well known, definitely up here in the Northeast. Everyone, if they can go to Wegmans, they do go to Wegmans.
Is it a Kroger type of scenario? Is it a King Soopers sister scenario?
It might be. It might be. I'll have to look. I'm not exactly positive, but I saw. That's what I was about to say. I forgot where I was going with this. They had canned or jarred peaches, like that we grew up eating. We always used to eat like canned peaches with cottage cheese. And that is something that I haven't had in forever. And I just had some like a half hour ago. Now, a jar of peaches at Wegmans is like $9. I'm like, Jesus Christ, the amount they charge for just anything that's a little bit extra, that's not just canned or canned peaches that sit on the shelf for a year and a half, whatever. They charge you out the wazoo for it. But that is a snack that has slapped since we were little kids. Little peaches and cottage cheese. And also just the syrup that they put these peaches in. It's just like straight sugar, but it's just like peach water. And oh my God, that shit. You just throw a little dash of it in the bowl with the cottage cheese and the peaches. Absolutely hits.
Yeah, I had a pear cup at the hospital because this hospital menu was insane. Like, you ordered one entree and it was like you get an entree and every entree comes with two sides, a starter, a dessert, and a drink. And I was just in heaven looking at this menu.
Maybe date night needs to be at the hospital going forward. It sounds like it's kind of do you know what they charge you? Like, how much was that steak and egg breakfast that you had?
So I think a lot of it gets billed into your meal, like into your hospital bill. So if you look at the bill after the 2 days we stayed there, you don't want to do that more often than not.
Did you see the number? Like, what was it, before insurance and everything? Do you have any clue?
Oh, no. And also, I have a nit to pick here. They called us before we even got to the hospital and charged us our full bill, which was kind of insane. Like,
Yeah,
they
that's
literally
like
called us on Thursday or Wednesday. We were supposed to show up Thursday. They call us on Wednesday and say, hey, this is what you're going to owe after this scenario. And we had to run our credit card for it right there, which I was a little off put by. But I guess
that's like making a reservation at a restaurant and they call you the day before and be like, hey, this is what you got. Like,
yeah,
if you just want to like at least wait until the deed has been done. My God.
Yeah, I thought that was a little weird as well. I guess what it was some sort of insurance thing where we knew we had an X amount to hit our deductible already. And so they just charged us the rest of that until the deductible, because it was going to be way more than that if we didn't have insurance. So I was just a little off put by that. But going back to the pears, when I had the pear bowl, I dumped the syrup out before I ate them because I knew how fucking bad that would just the amount of sugar in that. I know
It's
is
so good though. It is so they also had jarred pears as well, and I was having a tough time between the peaches.
I would
and
have
the
got
pears.
both of them.
Oh,
I was spending all $18 and got two of those.
Pears.
Jarred fruit is elite. It's really good. I don't particularly like fruit. We have it all the time in my house now because we have kids, and I just look at it every time and it does not excite me unless I'm dipping it in chocolate hummus or have some sort of a dip scenario. I am not a fan of just regular fruit by itself or on top of pancakes. I'll eat it then,
Just a good mix in food, but not a good standalone food.
Right. And one more quick food take for you that is just a semi-fire fest for me is I think we've maybe talked about this before, but I always have to have a treat after I eat lunch. And it's such a bad, like today, I do a podcast, I come in here, I'm eating my lunch, I make my sick pizzadilla. It's fucking phenomenal, by the way. Also put a pasta sauce on it. I forget the exact terminology. Marinara. So it was marinara, mozzarella, pepperonis inside of a garden herb crusted tortilla fire. But then I'm done and I'm sitting here and I still got some time before we got to hop on. So I'm like, fuck, I need some gummy bears. And then I go and eat like 10 gummy bears. And I can't just eat a meal without having a sweet treat afterwards.
You pour the sugar out of your pear cup, but then you just hoover gummy bears like they're going out of style. That's a little ass backwards. You got your priorities fucked up. But also, I've never dealt with this, but like when you're going to the hospital, do they just like open you up a tab for food? Like I was kind of wondering that, like, or you just send it on whatever. It's kind of, you get this much money for meals. They tack it on at the end. Do they ask for a tip? Do they deliver it to you? Like, do you have a server?
Yeah, so they deliver it to the room, which is nice. I think they just assume that you can just order with all what you're paying to be there. You can just order X amount of meals per day. I did go out and pick up some Firehouse subs, which is so gas, some Five Guys as well. That was right by the hospital.
Well, because Kylie's got just a crazy obsession with Firehouse, correct?
No, Jersey Mike's is her obsession.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Jersey Mike's.
Firehouse was close, so I just went to Firehouse. But yeah, so I did get charged. So the first day when we ate the meals, we didn't get charged. Second day, they give like a congratulations brunch for new parents. Essentially, it's like a special menu. That's where I got the steak and eggs.
Oh,
and
okay.
then the last night before we were leaving, we just wanted to order dinner because we had to sit there and wait till like 9 p.m. So that when we ordered dinner and they covered Kylie's, but I had to pay for my last meal, I guess. They just like they didn't ask for a card the first couple of times. And it was only 15
You're like, okay, buddy, this is
that.
where you've eaten so much. We got to charge you for this one. Like you've overstepped the bounds of what you're supposed to eat in a couple days in the hospital here.
Yeah, I think it's a 1 meal per room per eating time charge. They were like, because Kylie ordered hers and then was like, oh, I've got something for my husband. They're like, oh, we're going to need a credit card, basically is how that went.
Wow, they're really promoting like the dad not being there. Like they only give you 1 meal. The dad could go do whatever, just not be there at all. But you're a good, solid stand-up guy. Obviously, you stayed the whole time. It looked like you were really having a rough time of it, just double boxing, college basketball, and golf, and eating unrelentlessly. Like just the world was your oyster, and meanwhile, Kylie's going through absolute hell. So yeah, just being a dude is definitely a little easier than being a woman. Let's put it when it comes to that type of thing. And for the most part, I would definitely say.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. All right. Well, do we want to get into some golf? Let's talk some golf because.
Well, let's talk a little Olympic sports real quick. Just.
Oh yeah, a little Olympic.
We did not. Recap. We talked so much about food. If you look at us, you'd understand why. But Olympic hockey, that's really. First of all, the medal count. Did you see the overall medal count?
No, I didn't see. I kind of watched the closing ceremony, but it was more of just like on a triple box TV, just there to be there.
In the background kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think Norway, if I'm not mistaken, Norway won by like 8 or 9 medals over the US. And I think it turns out that Norway just like kind of invented half of these sports that are in the Winter Olympics and is just really good at all of them, like all the cross country skiing and the skeet shooting shit. And I don't even know what those events are called, but I guess they kind of rolled America in that. But we won the 3 main events: the women's figure skating, which is always a big deal, and then then definitely some snowboarding, skiing stuff, and then obviously the men's and women's hockey. That was the most electric. I honestly thought the women were going to blow out Canada. I heard that the U.S. women's team was much stronger than the Canadian women's team, and it was a little closer than I anticipated, but still super sick finish there. And then just the goosebumps of the men's team winning a gold medal for the first time in 40-something years, I want to say, since 1980. So that would be 46 years. It's pretty unbelievable. Like not to sound like an American asshole, but Canada's won. They live and die by hockey. They wake up in the morning and they're thinking about hockey. And America is like
I saw a
the
tweet
fourth.
that said this is Canada's 9/11.
That is fucking true. I can only imagine how those people, like, there's still people today that probably took off work because they couldn't, like, they just didn't even want to go in. It'd be like the equivalent of your favorite team losing a championship, or even worse, because it's a whole nation. It's not even just a team. But yeah, that was an emergency for them, like a DEFCON 1. They're going to be thinking about that for the next, or DEFCON 5. Does that go up or down? Is 1 the most important, or the 5th?
Do I look like I fly a fucking plane? No.
Okay. I really don't even know what that means. I just know the term. But there's so many people like, yeah, Canada's going to think about this for the next 4 years. And meanwhile, we're going to enjoy this for like 2 days and then be on to the NBA, the NFL, or the, MLB, all of this shit. So, but yeah, I would say as Americans, we got to feel pretty good about this one. I hated to see our boys, McKinnon, Makar, Nathan McKinnon, honestly, like, shocking him missing that empty net in the, with a couple minutes left. I was almost like taken back. Like I thought I saw something wrong. So I'm like, was the net that wide open and he just missed a literal tap in? So he's definitely going to lose some sleep over that. But if there's anybody in sports that has more fire in their belly than Nathan McKinnon, I don't know who it is. And now he's just got even that much more reason to just go scorched earth on the entire NHL the rest of the season. So I don't hate it it's kind of a win-win. I don't hate it for the Avs, and I don't hate it for Team USA either.
Yeah, and the other thing that's got to be awkward is I know there's a lot of professional hockey teams or NHL hockey teams, I should say, in Canada. You've got the Canadians, the Canucks, the Senators, all that. I think the main team, though, and the biggest fan base is probably the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then their captain is the captain of Team USA who beats them. It's got to be like a super awkward feeling for them. Kind of if, like, I guess if McKinnon, Makar, and Taves won, I wouldn't have been like that upset, especially if it would have been a McKinnon and Makar goal to win the cup, or win the gold medal, I should say. And then they're like both our guys. It would have been a cool feeling, but I can only imagine those Canadians crashing out already because they love hockey so much. And then captain of Team USA is none other than their leading goal scorer and best player. So it's got to be double whammy for them, full on crash out. And you were correct, medal count. So I just looked it up. Norway had 41 total medals. USA had 33, and then Italy was third with 30.
Good for Italy. Like, who would have thunk? I don't know where they won their medals, but I know they've got some good, like, speed skaters. I think there was one lady who's like 36 years old and has competed in the last 4 or 5 Olympics and is just a world beating speed skater. So, but I really didn't think Italy had it in the bag, or had that in their repertoire. You know what I mean? Who would have thunk that Italy would be one of the strongest Winter Olympic nations? So good for them. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really care as much. Like, I'm almost kind of bummed the Olympics are over, just because it was always some sort of sport on TV. But I also felt like every time I turned on the Olympics, it was just curling. It felt like curling went on for 2 weeks at all times. I'm like, is anybody ever going to win, or what's the story? So, and maybe the Canadian hockey team lost for the bad juju that the Canadian curling team put on them with the little finger flick at the end of the I don't even know what it's called, the pass that you make with the big stone. But fun fact, have you heard about these granite stones that they use for curling? Apparently they only can get them from one place in the world, because they have the right density of granite, of rock, that they can carve then into these stones that they play with. So it's like, and I guess those are they curling stones? Is that what they're called? I don't know, but either
all their names for everything are so fucking weird.
yeah. I mean, we're just very American, like call it a ball, call it, a bat and a ball and a hoop and just some super simple shit. But
It's actually called a stone or a rock.
Oh, okay. So I got them both right. That's great. I think the curling stones run like $500 a pop. Like, talk about barrier to entry. You got to find a sheet of ice and spend $500. It's like bowling, but on ice with a way more expensive stone. So I don't know anybody that's really jumping to get into curling, but it does look like something you could do hammered. So I think I'd be pretty good at it.
One thing I saw that was hilarious is, do you know what the green line is called? Where they push the stone from and you can't hold it any longer.
Oh, the muck line, though. What
The
is
hog line.
The hog. That is so like who came up with that? I guarantee you whoever like created curling is like, this is such an irrelevant sport. We're gonna call it the most insane things and nobody's ever gonna notice. Like, and now it's
the hog line for me is my waistband generally.
exactly. You can't pass that line. No touching past that line. But other than that, any other Olympic takes you've got here?
No, there was a lot of curling on. I think the United States, I think curling is just such an interesting sport because it's not like in other sports, like to snowboarding, the skiing, there's like a lot of championships for that are televised that you get to see these athletes and world championships. And curling, I feel like I'm probably wrong. There's probably professional curlers and leagues, but I would say as just an overall televised sport, Olympics is where curling really takes off. And then everything else, even kind of like bobsled too, I would say bobsled and things like that. Like that's more of an Olympic sport. Snowboard half pipe is an Olympic sport, but you have the X Games every year and you have people that do it on the mountain all the time. It's not very gate kept by the Olympics. I feel like curling is super gate kept by the Olympics, and then they want to just show it all the time.
Yeah, I come to think of it, because I'm like, I've never seen curling on TV, and then I was like, I've seen pickleball and shit on TV. Like, is pickleball going to be an Olympic sport?
Well, I think I could be completely off here, but I think each country that hosts the Olympics is allowed to add sports,
I think
or
you're
multiple
correct.
sports. And so I know that's why they're adding flag football when the Olympics come to LA in a couple of years. But I don't know if it's maybe pickleball could be. I mean, it would be pretty fun to watch these guys fucking pickle it up. Something like a table tennis on steroids.
Also, can you imagine just a Monstars versus more of a Monstars team than the NFL version of a flag football team that we're going to have when the summer games are in America? Like that is good. Can you imagine some Italian bakers and like farmers running around out there, and Tyreek Hill is just running circles around them, just absolutely smoking them, and Patrick Mahomes is throwing a 70-yard bomb, and they're like, "Oh, me, don't run away from me!" Like I don't know what fucking country is going to compete with America in that.
Well, honestly, I mean, I know there was a lot of NHL players, but that's kind of how it felt with the hockey a little bit, is it not? Like that Canadian was so unbelievable, and the American team was better. But did you see there was a tweet that resurfaced from 2011 yesterday that went pretty viral? Some guy in 2011, it was the Olympics, or it was right around the Olympics or something. But somebody tweeted, the USA Junior Hockey Federation has just reached 100,000 participants for the first time ever. And so this guy quote tweeted it with, "Watch out 2026 Olympics." And then it started resurfacing like after the US won.
That is pretty cool. And I mean, I never really thought about it like this, but like hockey has become such a bigger sport in America. It used to be a fairly niche thing, and now you've got kids from, I think Jake Gensel's from like Omaha, Austin Matthews is from Arizona. There's guys from all these different states that you would just never expect to be hockey areas that are now in the NHL or on that winning Olympic team. So it's just very cool to see Like it's kind of a program that's like been built from like a grassroots American thing, and they built that program in order to compete at the highest level, and they kind of reached that mountaintop. So pretty cool shit. Last thought on the Olympics. Do Australians not compete in Winter Olympics? Am I losing it? Like, I don't
No,
think
I
I
just
saw
don't think they. I don't think
Australian.
they don't think they have the capacity to do that kind of stuff. I don't think there's a ton of ice rinks in Australia. There's definitely no skiing, snowboarding. I don't think there's just it's not a thing there. They just come
But
out for the summer games.
you know how much money nations spend on Olympics, like a ridiculous, stupid amount for no reason. Like, you don't think Australia would be able to spend a couple million to put a team of Australian people in the Swiss Alps for a year and fucking learn, just to have a team together and just I was just thinking about that because I did not see a single Australian person or a single Australian flag at the Winter Olympics. So they just flat out are like, this is just not for us. We're out on this.
They really know what they do well, and they stick to that. I respect it. I respect
I
the
do
country of
too.
Australia. I mean,
Very,
Live Golf Adelaide happened the same week as the Olympics, so you can't just take away from the prize possession of Australia.
it legitimately looked like half of Australia was at Live Golf Adelaide. We really didn't talk about that, but if Live just did every event in Australia, like it would be kind of genius. Let's be real. And I was actually thinking about that as well with the LPGA. Like the LPGA's gone pretty international, and I would almost contend that the LPGA is a bigger thing internationally than it is in America. Whereas the PGA
Yeah,
Tour is huge here, obviously, and it's strictly American. It feels like the LPGA is very, and you look at the leaderboard every week and you're like, holy shit, it's way more international than the PGA Tour.
yeah. Well, let's look at the PGA Tour leaderboard and shout out to Jacob Bridgeman for winning at Riviera. Like I said in the intro, Scotty never won here. Jack never won here. Tiger never won here. Rory's never won here. And
Tiger's
now,
never won at Riviera.
no, isn't that insane?
That is bananas. I didn't really think that there was a single place he hadn't won at. Are you positive?
I'm positive.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
positive.
that is very shocking. Well, and so obviously shout out Jacob Bridgeman. He played his ass off. He basically won this tournament in the second and third rounds. He played stupid well on Saturday. And when he went birdie, eagle, birdie to start the back nine on Saturday to get like a 5 or 6 shot lead, and it felt like he kind of never looked back after that. Although it looked much closer than it ended up being. He really won that tournament on Saturday because it kind of felt like he was steering it home a little yesterday. Deservedly so. It's a huge tournament, huge money on the line. You got big names breathing down your neck. Like he didn't have his best shit yesterday, but he still got it done. And I think he is not 3-putted in like 180 some holes now. Which was huge coming down the stretch because on like 13, I think he had a 5-footer. And on 18, he left himself the putt that absolutely nobody in golf ever wants, like 3.5-footer for a PGA Tour win. And how many times as a kid, even though, you don't, 99% of kids don't make it on tour, how many times growing up were you practicing 3-footers like, oh, this is to win the, not many people are saying the Genesis Open at Riviera. It's maybe the Masters of the US Open, but to win a huge professional event, you're thinking about these 3-footers, and to actually have to stare one down when he hit one into like 18 feet. It wasn't like he was trying to 2-putt from 50 feet. So he just had massive stones all week. He got it done when he needed to.
Yeah, I'm going to read this just because it's a great thing from Monday Q Info talking about Jacob Bridgman, because it's part of this hits kind of where I felt and how we felt. I mean, granted, he was up by 6 shots, but I'm gonna be lying to you if I tell you that I was really excited to see him leading it by so many is just always how we go. We want to see a competitive back nine on a Sunday and some fun, intense shots or shots that completely flip the whole thing, like we saw at the Waste Management this year, like we saw even the past week at Pebble. There was a lot of shots that you're like, all right, well, this could win or lose him the golf tournament. So this is from Monday Q Info. at A Case of the Golf One. We quote him a ton on this podcast. He said, "What a win for Jacob Bridgeman. He's also a great example of why the tour must market young players better at some of their stars start to age. Bridgman was one of the best players of his age group and class since he was a kid. Ninth-ranked junior, went to a great college golf program, and had one of the best freshman years in Clemson history. Continued from there, won a bunch. He was an All-American and finished second on the PGA Tour U, which is, as you guys know, if you've paid attention to the PGA Tour U is now a thing where the top 10 PGA Tour U qualifiers from college get some sort of a conditional status on the PGA Tour if they want it. He turned pro and earned his full-time PGA Tour card as a rookie on the Korn Ferry Tour. He played solid, kept his card. He wouldn't have if it was 100 cards, but thank God it was 125. He improved again and had a great year, and now his first PGA Tour win is in a signature event. But most casual fans have almost no idea who he is. The tour must find a way to build up momentum for young guys, not start to market them after they win. Today should not be a letdown that a big name didn't win. Rather, it should be excitement that a possible young future star has taken a step in his career." And there's more I won't read the rest of it, but that's literally kind of how I felt. I was like, if that leaderboard was Scotty, Rory, maybe Tommy Fleetwood, a few other guys, I'd have been like, oh shit, this is I would have been really dialed in.
Banger of a week. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like it definitely, the leaderboard felt slightly scattered with smaller names, like obviously names that we know, like Aldrich Potgieter, Kurt Kitayama. I would contend that Jacob Bridgeman I probably knew the least about, even though listen to his finishes this year. He has 5 starts. He has 5 top 25s. He finished T4 at Sony in Hawaii, T13 at the Amex, T18 at the Phoenix Open, T8 last week at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and this week he wins. Like, he's 5 for 5 this year. He's made $5.2 million so far. So he's averaging over $1 million an event. Obviously, a $4 million paycheck helps that average quite a bit, but he has honestly been all around the most solid player on tour this year. I keep waiting, we have our one and done that we do every week, and I keep waiting for him to like fall off. I'm like, okay, because generally speaking, these guys go in, 2 to 3 week runs where they'll play really well for a couple weeks and then they'll fall off, and they'll have a couple of those runs throughout the year. But it is very rare for a guy like this, a younger dude, not super well known and doesn't really have the pedigree, to just stay on this run and continue to play this well. So pretty unheard of. And like, he drives it really well. So basically what it broke down to this week when he won was his strokes gained tee to green, or his strokes gained approach, I think was like 6 or 7. And his strokes gained on the greens was like 6 or 7. So yeah, 6, 7. But just between the approach game and the putting game, because these greens, these POA greens are very tough to putt. And he got it done. Like I said, he didn't putt great on Sunday, but he putted well enough. Like, that's what's crazy, is very rarely can you win a tournament on a Saturday, but he put himself so far and away out in front of the rest of the field that he shot 1 over par and still won. Like, that's pretty freaking crazy to think about, when all these Adam Scott shot 63 twice this week. Granted, his other rounds were not super good. I think he shot 72 Saturday, but I mean, just to put together 3 rounds of 19 under at this golf course and be able to win on those 3 rounds, like, he would have finished even better if he wouldn't have played the last round. So the dude just played his ass off really early, and you could kind of see by his finishes this year, he was like, kept busting his head up against the ceiling, trying to get out of there. And then he just fucking shot right through this week.
Yeah. Well, his strokes gained total on Saturday was over 6. And that was the first time that had ever happened at Riviera in any PGA Tour event in history. So it's kind of insane just how well he played. And I don't know. Is it more fun if he does that on a Sunday? Like, if you flip his rounds, right, and he does that on Sunday and wins by 1 over sure. Rory, is it more fun than going into Saturday or going into Sunday morning and a guy has a 6-shot lead? Now, I do want to give a quick shout out to Aldrich Potgieter. More of a shout out for, I mean, obviously you got a top 5 on the PGA Tour. That always deserves a shout out. But that motherfucker, and I'm only mad about this because I wanted something to bet on Sunday. All of our bets were so mid this week, by the way. I mean, literally not even bad. Like, calling them bad isn't right. It's mid, because I think every guy we had finished at like 6, 7, or 8 under, right in that realm of just not good, but not making us any money at all. Like, we're both -3 units for the week, but none of them were like miscut scenario. And Scotty Scheffler was in danger of missing the like 4-person cut or whatever, because you have to be within a certain amount of the lead, and Bridgeman really stretched that out for some guys. I thought, Matt Fitzpatrick was leading at one point. I thought the cut was going to be at like +2, because there was a lot of guys at 7, 8 under Friday night. And you're like, okay, that'll be a decent lead going into the weekend. And then all of a sudden, I think Bridgeman finished at 12 or something like that. It's something insane, and then goes out Saturday and shoots an insane round. But
no, I think he finished at 10. I think he finished at 10 because the cut ended up being even, if I'm not mistaken, because they took everyone within 10 shots of the leader, and then the top 50 players, or whichever came first. I don't know. So interesting way to do this at a signature event. And then also just how demoralizing for like the handful of dudes that didn't make the cut. Like, you make into these signature events thinking you have a guaranteed paycheck as long as you don't absolutely shit down your leg. And then the handful of dudes that did are like, wow, should I really, like Garrett Kigo? I'm sorry. I think he finished DFL player profile,
well, actually there is a lot of dudes that missed the cut. Yeah. So the cut was even.
Well, at one point there was like 4 or 5 dudes that were outside of it, and it was like Keegan Bradley, Tony Finau, and Garrett Kigo, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so some notables from the miscuts. The last 3 players in this event were JJ Spawn, Jason Day, and Garrett Kigo. Garrett Kigo finished 10 over. He was probably glad to get away from Riviera.
Spawn has not had a good start to the season. He's having a little sophomore slump, even though he's not a sophomore. Just a big come down after a huge year last year.
Justin Rose missed the cut. Chris Gotterup missed the cut. Russell Henley,
shocking.
Russell Henley, Mav McNeely, Sam Burns all missed the cut.
Mav McNeely missed the cut. I think he shot like 6 under day one. I was like pissed at myself for not taking him in the one and done.
No, he only shot 2 under.
I think at some point he had it cooking, though, if I'm not mistaken. But anywho.
Yeah, he shot 34 on the back 9 on Thursday.
Okay.
And then Friday, his scorecard's just filled with squares.
Speaking of squares, I think I am going to have to self-impose a Patrick Cantlay ban for myself, because watching this dude play golf is the most painful experience of anything that I've ever done in a sports viewership world. Like, I'd rather get kicked in the nuts over and over again than watch Patrick Cantlay take 2 minutes to hit every single putt, stand like his happy feet before every shot that he hits. Even Rory at one point last year was like mocking his pre-shot routine just because it takes absolutely forever. And then I think he parred the par 5 first hole every day. Maybe he birdied it one time. That's like one of those as an athlete. It's like, I don't think I'm elite. I think I could birdie that hole almost every single time I played it. Like, I could actually get a drive out there, probably 270, 280, and then hit a 220-yard shot into the middle of that massive fucking green. The toughest part is probably just 2-putting it. But also this dude, I got to give a shout out to this guy. This guy's name is Michael Griffin.
We have to clip that, by the way. That shit was hilarious. Okay. Patrick Cantlay is.
Oh,
Patrick
yeah.
Cantlay
I'm out. I'm fully out on Patrick Cantlay. Even during the Ryder Cup, I can't root for the guy. And he's just uglier than sin. Like, let's be real. He looks like a troll under a bridge. Like, actually, Jacob Bridgeman is like Patrick Cantlay looks like a Walmart version of Jacob Bridgeman. Like, it's even the curly hair, the massive ears. It's terrible. But this dude, Michael Griffin on Twitter, Skin Rule. And this just goes to show you how social media is, they're listening to you, because I was motherfucking Patrick Cantlay all Thursday, all Friday, like even just to myself, not on social media, just talking in the living room, watching TV. And then this dude's tweet pops up on my For You page, and it's just MF and Cantlay. And so I'm like, oh, I love this. I'm going to click on this. I think this guy tweeted 80 to 90 times this weekend about how bad Patrick Cantlay is. I'm just gonna fucking pick a few. Patrick Cantlay gonna have to make at least one birdie to make the cut. Don't see how that is possible since he sucks so bad. Patrick Cantlay driving the ball as far as a chick. Patrick Cantlay playing partners both birdie the gimme 11th. Not this stiff. Not even going to make the cut. And this is just, I literally had to scroll back like 7 or 8 times. Patrick Cantlay not going to make a birdie the rest of the day. Patrick Cantlay, another brick coming up on 6. You suck. Patrick Cantlay, you going to bogey every hole now, dickhead? I was like, this guy is just a man after my own heart. And then Matt Fitzpatrick was my other pick this week. And then he starts going in on Matt Fitzpatrick. I'm like, does this guy somehow, Matt Fitzpatrick just bricked 2 birdie holes. Way to go. Matt Fitzpatrick, another inside 10-foot brick coming up. Don't think I've ever seen a more pathetic putting for performance. Matt Fitzpatrick.
He had tweeted that before he saw Aldrich Potgieter putt on Sunday. Oh my God, bro.
Just missed everything. Well, and Rory too, for that matter. I think Rory had like 6 misses inside of 10 feet. And then he had a good response at the end when the reporter asked him, was it frustrating to finally see that one go in? And he's like, well, no, I think I made like 400 or 500 grand off of that one putt. So not really. Just leave it to Rory.
It was 600 grand is actually how much it was.
I know. I thought about that.
He shortchanged himself.
My first house that I ever purchased and sold was worth that one putt right there. That's pretty fucking sad to think about. But then this dude just keeps going in on Fitzpatrick. Finally sprinkles a little like, oh, can Jacob Bridgeman par the 18th? Patrick Cantlay getting smoked by Noren today. Don't even think he cares as long as he's getting a paycheck. Fucking gutless punk. Like this, I would just love to meet this guy and see who is sitting back there. And he probably had like $10 on him to win and just absolutely rage tweeting about the guy. So I just got a kick out of reading his tweets all weekend because I could 100% relate to how he was feeling.
Yeah, let's get into a little bit of Scotty Scheffler and his interesting season and his interesting Thursdays. And there's been some funny tweets about that too, about what he should do or what his wife should do for him on Wednesday nights going into Thursdays. But I think he made his 18th straight top 10 finish on the PGA Tour. Unbelievable streak.
I think he finished 12th.
Did it break?
I think he finished T12. That's why
maybe it stopped at 18 is what I saw.
Yeah, he was T12.
Damn.
So it's officially over.
One shot off.
And I mean, he fired, 65
on Sunday.
Yeah.
5 under on the back 9.
74 in round 1. Like watching this dude out of sorts on the golf course is truly a mind-bending experience. You feel like there's somebody else that's taken over his body because you just can't believe that it's actually happening. Like, and the ball striking is the weirdest part. So these are his splits through the last 3 starts updated through the Genesis. Aggregate score by round. So round 1, he's 5 over par. Round 2, he's 15 under. Round 3, he's 14 under. Round 4, he's 22 under. So he's a combined 36, 51. He's a combined 46 under in his last 3 events. And a combined 51 under the last 3 rounds of his last 3 events. So if maybe hot take, Scotty to the Live Tour, actually they play 72 holes now, never mind. But if Scotty only had to play 3 rounds, he may never lose. And he still doesn't lose very often. It is shocking. Like, imagine this is the week somebody finally guts up and they're like, Scotty's minus 500 of top 10. It's never going to not fucking hit. He's pissed off after last week. He's pissed off after the last 2 weeks. And you lay down like $500 to win 100 or some shit. And he misses it by 1 shot. And it just is. It is pretty shocking the poor play that he's had in those first rounds, and then it feels like he's always going to come back. He just keeps running out of holes.
Yeah, well, shooting what he shoots on Thursdays, it like you said, it doesn't make sense. You watch how good he is when he needs to turn it on, and ironically, he's turned it on enough to continue until this weekend, continue his top 10 streak, but maybe he's shape-shifting into the guy that can come back and win a tournament rather than the guy that just takes the lead and has to win it, wins it on Thursday, essentially, where he doesn't give up the lead. It'll be kind of fun to see if he actually gets back and wins a few of these, because like this week, T12, but last week, I believe he ended up second place. Same with the tournament at the Waste Management. He ended up at second place, but he just puts together these insane rounds on Sunday and finds himself kind of back in it. But the Thursday scoring averages is something that it is insane. And like you said, Liv playing 72 holes now kind of squashes this. But if he was just playing Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, I mean, he'd be lapping the field on the Liv Tour for sure.
100%. And so I'm looking at his round one stats this week. Just from this Thursday, he was negative strokes gained approach, around the green, and putting. He, in an 80-man field, he was 56 approach, 52nd around the green, and 62nd putting. So yeah, that's just an out of character day for a guy like that. But you know what another thing is that I've realized about Scotty, which is insane, and maybe not that insane, but the guy has an extra gear with distance. Have you noticed this? Like when he was pissed off, like midday Saturday, because a few of these holes at Riviera on the back nine are slight dogleg lefts, not to the point where like you play up to the corner, just like a slight bend, like just a lilt to the left. And so he'll hit this like straight ball or like this 2-yard draw, and it goes like 315, 320 yards. Like, I think let's see, this week in round one, he was third in driving distance for the entire field. He was 10th in driving distance for the week. Like, who would have thought that Scotty Scheffler, just because when he's playing really good golf and he's not like unloading and just hitting his fairway finder, he's hitting it, 290, 295, but just that little baby cut. And then he hits this draw and it goes an extra 20 yards. And it's just, but then you look at how he's physically built. He's like 6'3", his arms are long as shit. And you're like, yeah, I guess you should be able to hit it that long, but he's just so good at everything else that his distance kind of gets forgotten about.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just hitting and then you always have that in the back of your mind of how not good. I mean, he's a better putter for sure, but how not good at putting he is. So he just has to overcompensate with that and be such a good ball striker, hitting every fairway, having, as you called it, the best distance control with his wedges and irons of any player that we've seen in recent history. So he has to overcome the bad putting in order to win these tournaments by just hitting the ball extensively better than everybody else. But he has switched to a certain putter, which we will talk about a little bit, because this is insane.
Wait, let me throw out one last thing about the tournament that was crazy. So Max Grieserman shot 7 under total. He almost made a hole in one on 10, which was nuts. He almost like flew it into the jar, hit it to like 2 feet from 285. And then on Sunday, he makes an ace on the back nine on 14. So he made an eagle and he was basically 4 under par on 2 holes and then 3 under par collectively. And his back nine on Sunday, oh, for a second, I thought that was your camera or somebody walking behind it. I was like, what the fuck? His back nine on Sunday, he shot even par. He had a bogey, a par, a double bogey, and a hole in one. Just an average even par back nine for him on Sunday. So I just had to get, like, he won a car. He won I think 2 Genesis. And apparently Jordan Spieth was mid post round interview when Max Grieserman made that hole in one. He goes, oh, Grieserman, hole in one. I think his caddy gets a car too. Like mid answer of like when they did the press commentary of like the answers and people typed it out. And then right afterwards, Rory hold that bunker shot. He's like, holy shit, Rory just hold that bunker shot. It's like off a downhill slope from 40 yards. What a shot. Like just basically somebody's like, you should just commentate on the PGA Tour. And he's like, maybe I will at some point. So that was pretty funny. But I just had to give Grieserman is electric. Like when he hits he can hit some unbelievable shots, and pride of North Jersey. So
shout out Max Grieserman. Also shout out to the TaylorMade Spider putter with the win this week from Jacob Bridgeman. That is now 6 of the 7 PGA Tour events this year. No, 5 of the 6, excuse me. 5 of the 6 PGA Tour events this year of all playing not Scotty Cameron's. I'm thinking Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty Scheffler putters.
Scotty Scheffler putters, correct. The TaylorMade Spider has now won at Sony, Amex, Phoenix, Pebble, and Riviera. The lone bird not winning, with not being the TaylorMade Spider.
Justin Rose, right?
Yep, the Scotty Cameron Phantom T5. That's what Rose was
okay.
gaming it. No, did Rose win at Torrey?
No, Rose won it. No, wait, no, he did.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but so Torrey was the week that was not a Spider. Spiders were not alive.
Yes. Okay, that was him, because I'm like, I don't think Rosie plays a Spider. But dude, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I've just never really liked Spiders. I played one when it was a belly putter, but apparently they're just the best thing since sliced bread. Either that or TaylorMade is just shoving it down these players' throats, and they're managing to get home with it. But I know, are you a big Spider guy or what?
I have 2 of them, so I might go back to. I used to have 3. I used to have the big one that you gave me, the like OG Rossi Spider. That was
I think Sean Fisher has that now. I think he's still, and it's just flat as shit. It legit is like 12 years old.
It's 12 inches long, flat, and fucking 15 years old.
It looks like he picked it up off the rack at like a Play It Again Sports or some shit.
Carl's Golf Land.
Yeah.
How much money do they have to be spending to get all these CBS commercials on Sunday at PGA Tour events?
Unbelievable. But I will say that there is massive margins in reselling golf clubs, because people don't know where to sell them, don't want the pain in the ass of it. It's just like cars, but probably even bigger margins. You're like, I'd rather have this dealership give me $5,000 than, try to sell it privately and make an extra $1,000. But they spend a shitload of money buying people's clubs off them and then just resell them for like fucking twice the price. So it's a pretty good deal. I've honestly thought if I were to own a business and like wanted to do that, I would do like a used golf store with like a simulator, like Rex. Shout out Rex Golf. We got turned on to them by Josh Seipel, because he was teaching there and working there a little bit before he became an agent and now like a TGL star. But like, how fun would it be to just own a used golf shop, and somebody brings in like a sick pair of Mizunos or whatever, and like they've got all this memorabilia that they're getting. Like they have a staff bag with Ken Griffey Jr.'s signature on it, and like his personal like Gatorade bag. Shit like that would just be so cool to like see what rolls through your shop, kind of almost like going in a pawn shop, but just for golf clubs.
Yeah, we used to be super in that realm of always going into Superstore and trading stuff in and looking at the used irons and all that shit. That was electric times when you first get that itch for golf, but aren't really like financially ready to.
When you're 15 years old.
Well, that too, but some people.
What $200 set of irons can I get rid of and maybe spend an extra $50 and find me a new set that just tickles my fancy?
Yeah, I mean, even people that just get into golf in the mid-20s, early 30s, it doesn't make a ton of sense unless you're very well off to go and just drop $1,700 on a new set of TaylorMade woods and irons or whatever it is. But let's talk about the Kenya Open. Shout out to Davis Bryant, our guy, solo second here at the Kenya Open. I do want to give, before we talk too much about Davis, I do want to give a quick shout out to Njoroge Kibugu. I'm probably butchered that, but I tested it 3 times in my head before I said it out loud. So he needed a birdie to make the cut. He's from Kenya, and he needed a birdie to make the cut at his national Open, I guess. Kenya is not a state. It's a national.
It's a country.
Yeah. Ironically, this tournament was played at Karen Country Club, which is fucking hilarious name for U.S. people. I guess for Kenya, it probably doesn't really mean anything. But he needed a birdie to make the cut on the 36th hole on Friday afternoon. Par 5. Every course should end in a par 5. I will never stop saying that. He makes eagle with his whole family there to make the cut. and just a super unreal moment. And that's like the cool shit you see on the DP World Tour. Like the PGA Tour is just too, as we talked about earlier, decentralized,
sanitized and like
big players, and who, you're not worried about guys making the cut, especially weekends like now this coming weekend at the Cognizant, where everybody's fucking dropping out and it's just a random collection of PGA Tour players and Brooks Koepka playing in this thing. The cut making is not as glorified as stuff like this. So that's why it's cool to see stuff like that on the DP World Tour. But shout out to Davis Bryant, dude. I thought I was kind of following along. I was like, are we about to fire up a pod in Kenya, like midnight Kenya time for this guy taking solo second? But when I was looking through Monday Q Info's tweets, he had Davis Bryant on his pod as well. And he was like talking up Davis Bryant and said he's going to win this year. So we're looking.
That's dope. Yeah. I mean, he is definitely trending in the right direction. I'm looking at some of his stats right now. 12th most accurate driver on tour so far this year. So he is still one of the most accurate drivers of the putter accurate drivers of the putter of the golf ball. I was looking at his stats and I looked at average putts per round. Driving distance is still a little shorter than the average by like 12 yards. But other than that, he does everything pretty damn good. So, and the coolest part is right now he's 16th in the race to Dubai. So if he can have an early jump this year, he could backdoor his way into a PGA Tour card next year, which would be fucking electric. So we definitely got to follow along. And so basically what I saw happen was this Casey Jarvis dude who is South African. He basically, Davis was down by one stroke with like 5 holes left, and they had like some sort of weather delay. And it was basically just those two guys in the final group, like battling it out. So they had them really highlighted, but it was way more competitive. He ended up losing by 3 to this dude, still finishing solo second. But Casey Jarvis went birdie on 17 and basically just needed to make par on 18 and makes eagle on a short par 5, hits it to like 12 feet and then knocks it in. So it was closer than, it looked like at the end, but I'm sure Davis, just this experience that he can take from being in contention and like having a legit chance to win, not 4 or 5 back on the back 9, like legitimately within a stroke or two, is going to be huge experience for him down the road. And then, like you said, it's only a matter of time before this guy, because for his game, like I make all these excuses about I don't hit it that long, and Davis hits it longer than I do, but this guy just makes so many birdies. Like it is absurd that we saw it at the Colorado Open when he won. And then, he played really well at Q School, and he just goes on these runs where he makes bunches and bunches of birdies. So, and then I think on Sunday, he fired like a low one. I think he fired like 66 on Sunday. So by no means did he have like a bad Sunday. I think this Casey Jarvis kid just careered it. So, but really cool for him to now have that sort of strong footing, and just being in that position where he's already 16th. Now he doesn't need to like press the rest of the season to keep his card. He's going to have to play rough the rest of the year to not have a card for next year. So I think he's almost kind of guaranteed himself a card, and now he can just kind of go out and not free ball it, but just play a little bit more loose and actually be on the aggressor side of trying to go get that PGA Tour card.
Yeah, that's awesome to see for Davis. Really, really just want that winner's pod, because that'll be so electric. And the dude's got the game to do it, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's the next couple of weeks. DP World Tour actually has this coming weekend their event. I know there's some live guys going over and playing on that. The 8, we won't talk about it too long, but the 8 live tour players that got granted some ability to play in DP World Tour events. John Rahm is not one of them, ironically. So that's kind of an interesting story with Rahm just staking his case to live and loving it out there.
Well, Patrick Reed is playing next week, so Davis is going to be playing for second.
Yeah. Patrick Reed, DP World Tour fucking star. He's already going to wrap up the race to Dubai before February's over.
How funny will that be when they do like at the end of the year, they like feature every graduate of the DP World Tour that gets a PGA Tour card, and it's like 38-year-old Patrick Reed from Houston, Texas. Complete asshole. Everyone hates him. Like that.
Nobody
That will
likes the
be.
guy.
Nobody likes this guy. That will be an electric introduction.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this pod up with a Mulligan Monday, as we always do on Mondays. When we
shout out Gino Thitical, by the way. I put it in the headline, so I got to say it. She won in her home country of Thailand. I think she's the number 1 player in the world right now for ladies golf. So she just said it's basically like our national open, similar to the dude in Kenya that you talked about. So she's like, this is like as big of a win that I could have, winning in front of my home country. So shout out to her.
Shout out Gina Thitical. All right, Mulligan Monday, as we do every single Monday when we're on the pod, talk about something that we wish we had back or wish we could redo again from the past week. I'll start with my Mulligan Monday. Ironically, I went full golf douchebag mode here. And so I go into the hospital, you pack your bag, you're going to be there for a couple nights. And I'm a very black and white hat guy. I just always black, always white. I have a couple gray hats that I mix in there, but mostly just black hat, white hat. So I have these like set up in my closet, and the first one there is a Whistling Straits one. So I'm like, oh, I'll grab this fucking Whistling Straits hat and rock this at the hospital, whatever, maybe get some golf when we're hanging out in the nourishment room where all the dads hang out, you get some golf talk going. And so I bring the Whistling Straits hat, and then I'm in the hospital hanging out. It's getting a little hot, so I take off my hoodie and I go to the nourishment room, and I realized that the shirt I was wearing, because it's one of my like comfier shirts, was a Whistling Straits shirt. So I had a fucking Whistling Straits hat and a Whistling Straits shirt on. And this guy, I actually saw a dude in there, and he looks at me and goes, "You from Wisconsin?" And I was like, fuck, God damn it. This is such noob behavior. I immediately went back to the hospital room, shut the door, and changed my shirt. I was like, I can't have this. I can't be looking like a total nerd that played Whistling Straits once, although I've played it twice. But and just like rocking their shit like a total shill.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah, we have the same Whistling Straits t-shirt, and it is like the comfiest.
Top 3 of the ones I own.
It is just the go-to at home. My Mulligan Monday is, like I mentioned earlier, anytime the weather gets cold, and there's been a lot of cold weather this winter here in New Jersey, I just want to bake shit and cook shit. And it does sound a little fruity. I'm going to own it. I'm not going to lie. But I just, when it gets all cold out, you can't eat healthy. Like, who wants to eat a salad when there's a blizzard happening? So I'm like, I'm going to make this. So I made us like this pasta dish on Friday night with like carbonara, and it was fucking really good. But then I have a bunch left over because I don't know how to cook for just 2 people, which is ironic because all I've done is like cook for 2 people or 1 person my entire life. And then yesterday I make this huge pot of chili, and we've got all this left over. And now I've gotten to the point where it's like, we just need to eat leftovers for the next week because the freezer's full of it. The fridge is full of it. And then I'm just still going to the grocery store. I'm like, what should we have tonight? Like, I got to stop this shit. So we're having loaded baked potatoes with just not loaded baked potatoes, but just a potato with some chili in it, like a chili potato. So that's going to be gas. And realistically as well, the shit I'm making, obviously it's not super healthy, but it's also just like shit that messes with my stomach. And I just completely disregard that. I'm like, it's a blizzard out. I need to make whatever that is just not going to make me feel good for some reason. So at least I'm in close proximity to the toilet, which is helpful. But
I was going to say, there's going to be multiple that chili with potato is going to be gas in multiple different ways.
Yeah, that I'm already praying for that simulator bathroom. That thing is. Oh, I do have to admit this. I last time we were at the simulator, this is also a Mulligan. This is fucking funny. I was at the simulator and stomach didn't feel great. And the bathroom's just a 1-holer. There's only 3 simulators. Oh yeah, it's just a 1-holer. So I go in there and take care of business, and I go in, or I walk out, and there's a dude standing at the door waiting, and I'm like, oh fuck. And there's room spray. So I had sprayed some room spray. He walks in, and I just watch him immediately turn and walk back out for like a good like 30, 40 seconds. And then he walks back in. I was like, oh, fuck, buddy. I'm sorry. I should have gone over there and just apologized to him. I was like, dude, I know it's a rough one in there, but you got to do what you got to do. Just watching him immediately walk back out, I've never been more ashamed. I was like, oh my God, it is an absolute smack in the face. Like I'm a fucking monster, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. It's there for a reason. So
that's so good. That is so good. Well, that wraps it up for us on this edition of Big Drive Energy. Appreciate you all tuning in. If you're on the YouTube, make sure to give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe. Follow us on all the social medias. Big Drive Energy on X, Big Drive Energy Golf on Instagram. We appreciate you all tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the pod. We'll be back on Wednesday with a preview of the loaded Cognizant Classic. Brooks Koepka's chance to cement himself as a PGA Tour winner again. We appreciate you guys all tuning in. Talk to you on Wednesday. Peace.